Did you know? Did you know that the Eskimos have 15 or 20 different words for snow? What do you need so many words for? Just for snow. It's white and cold. Finished. What do you need to distinguish any further? But then, of course, if you live in Alaska, continents like that, then you might need to use snow and ice for all kinds of things in terms of construction, and it matters, the difference of quality between snow. So they will be able to differentiate between so many different types. So it's because they have a word for that, now they can say, oh, this snow has been very compressed, has been lying there for a long time, it's very dense. They will have one word for that. I don't know the word. Then the other snow is just fresh and very powdery, very soft. They will have a different word for that. So depending on the composition, how much water is in the snow, and how long it has been sitting there, they will have different words for that. And that idea that we need a concept, a kind of label for something, to be able to differentiate things. We also might be able to discern the different types of snow, but because we don't have the framework for it, we don't. For us, it's just cold and white. So how does that relate to our Dhamma practice? Many of us, we have been encouraged by our teachers when we meditate or reflect on the Dhamma to frequently also pay attention to the conditioned nature of phenomena. When this is, that comes to be. With the rising of this, that arises. When this is not, that will not come to be, or that will cease. Okay, very good. Cause effect. This comes first, that comes later, as a consequence. This is the standard way how we often see it. And then in this way we practice, either in open awareness or other practices, and then we can see that. And a few weeks go by, a few months go by, still the same. After a while, you're just going in circles. You're seeing the same thing over and over. Oh, I've seen this already so many times. Well, is this really the only way? This comes first, that comes after. Is this the only way of seeing conditionality? No, actually not. The Buddhist Theravada tradition came up with 24 different ways of seeing conditionality. But if we have never heard, at least, or at least briefly experienced them or tried them out, we don't have the framework for it. It's just, this comes first, that comes later. But there are many other cause-effect relationships where things either depend on each other. You take away one, the other one can also not be. Each other. Not just A conditions B, but also B conditions A. Or absence conditions. Something has to be absent for something else to exist. So it may all sound a bit abstract for now, but we can meditatively and reflectively explore that together. So this is what I would like to invite you for today. For that purpose, let us get into our meditation posture. You're sitting upright and relaxed. Now I can check whether there's any tension in the body. And if yes, relax that part. Or adjust the posture a little bit to relieve the pressure. Letting go of the past and the future. Letting the body and the mind settle down. There's nothing to do right now. Other than arousing a sense of interest, curiosity, about the conditioned nature of phenomena. And we can use our mind faculty, our wisdom faculty, to explore different ways of seeing with wisdom, conditionality. What is the precursor? What is the cause for birth? For a baby to be born? What needs to come first? Try to find the answer. There can be more than one, of course. Some important fact is, we'll need a mother and a father coming together. It also needs to be the same or the correct season of the menstrual cycle. We also understand that the being to be reborn, a Gandhapa, needs to be present to descend, so to speak, into the mother's womb. So if all these conditions are met, birth can come to be. Conception first, and eventually birth. Cause and effect. Without father, no birth. Without mother, no birth. Even two people, man and woman, just standing side by side, there will also be no birth. And there's a time gap between the causes being in place and the effects to appear. It is not the case immediately after a couple engaging in sexual activity, immediately afterwards a baby is born. So the causes come first, the effects follow. Try to find other instances in your life, in your mind, of cause-effect relationships, where the cause comes first and the effect follows. The sun rises, the temperature rises. The sun rises first. Only then, in the course of the morning, temperature will increase. we study, and then can pass an exam. There's a close link between these two. But they don't arise simultaneously. But there are other types of conditionality that do not have a temporal element in them. Earlier we spoke of birth. And the baby will have a mother. And the mother will have a baby. What comes first? The concept mother or the concept child or baby or son or daughter? Can we meaningfully speak? A woman is a mother if she has no child? No. It's with the birth that the concepts and ideas, mother and child, come into existence at the same time. And then these two concepts, they depend on each other. How? If the child dies, we wouldn't say anymore, this woman has a child or she is a mother. Maybe she was a mother in the past. Or the same if the mother dies, or the child is alive. We wouldn't say it has a mother. It had a mother. So these two depend on each other, both in terms of concepts, but also in real life. A child highly depends on its mother. And to some degree, the well-being of the mother also depends a lot on the well-being of its child. Not in the same way, but still. Try to find other examples. Any phenomena where both depend on each other. You take one away, the other one also doesn't exist anymore. There's one famous example in the scriptures. Consciousness and name and form depend on each other. How? Could we speak of a person, body and mind, mentality, materiality, without consciousness? No. For nama rupa to develop, it depends on consciousness. But could there be a consciousness without an object? Either a physical or a mental object to recognize? Consciousness needs to be conscious of something. It needs a content. It always comes with some content. So these two depend on each other. There's another idea, another way of seeing conditionality, which we call absence condition. Nati paccaya. Something needs to be absent for the other thing to exist. Darkness needs to be absent for light to exist. They cannot coexist simultaneously at the same place, at the same time. Try to find other absence conditions in your life. What needs to be absent for the body to exist and to continue to be alive? What needs to be absent? The absence of death, obviously. The absence of a fatal accident or terminal illness. The absence of a severe earthquake, virus. These are all absence conditions for the body or life to continue. On the spiritual path, what needs to be absent for wisdom to grow? What needs to be absent for wisdom to grow? Sloth and torpor, drowsiness. If the mind is very tired, sluggish, drowsy, it's not in a good state to discern things clearly, for wisdom to grow. Anger, the presence of anger will prevent wisdom from growing. Sense desires. What we call the 5 hindrances. They obstruct the development of composure of mind, of samadhi, and the development of wisdom. So the absence of the 5 hindrances is a condition for the development of wisdom. What needs to be absent for the experience of seeing to arise? Darkness. Darkness needs to be absent. Also, any moment where any one of the other sense doors are very active, hearing, smelling, tasting, at that time, strictly speaking, in that moment, we don't really see, we don't recognize, even something might be straight in front of our eyes. But we're just looking into the void. It doesn't register. We may have that experience when we're lost in thought. The eyes are open. But we don't recognize anything that's going on in front of us. We're just staring straight. Because the mind is thinking, mind consciousness. So seeing is not happening. So for seeing to occur, the other 5 senses temporarily have to stop. Like right now, the whole time, the birds were singing, cars were driving by. But most likely, we didn't pay attention. So hearing, or at least that type of sound, did not occur, didn't register. Attention is an important factor. So certain things need to be absent for other things to exist. Very interesting. sickness has to be absent for health to be present. Maybe a last way of differentiating different ways of seeing conditionality is the difference between a main cause and supporting conditions. The Pali word for supporting conditions or dependent conditions is nisaya paccaya. What is a supporting condition? Like now, here, to meditate. We're sitting on a meditation cushion, which supports our practice. Makes it a bit more comfortable. But is it the main cause? Is the cushion the main cause for meditation to happen? No. At other times we may also sit on the same cushion, but no meditation happens. And then at other times again, we might not sit on the cushion at all, yet meditation is going on in the mind. While walking, while standing, while lying down. So the cushion is not the main cause for meditation, but it can be a supporting condition. The main cause is, well, paying attention in a certain way, being mindful, directing the mind towards a certain theme of meditation, of reflection, of introspection. The cushion is not the main cause. Can you find other supporting conditions, either for meditation, spiritual development, or anything else, where something is not the main cause, but it supports that process, that activity, that phenomena? Many of you have been coming here by car, I assume. So to speak of a car, what do we need? Well, 4 wheels, a steering wheel also, brakes, and an engine. That's a car. But if you really have just that alone, it's maybe a race car. But most of our cars have many more features that support the comfort, well-being, safety of the passenger and the driver. You have a seat belt. It's not the main cause. The seat belt is not the main cause for having a car, for using the term car. Even without a seat belt, we may still call it a car. We have a wind screen in front. Quite good. What is an important supporting condition? Well, not the main cause, not the main feature. The same for Dhamma practice. What are the main causes? What is the main cause for progressing? And what are merely supporting conditions? Knowing the Dhamma, Dhamma knowledge, is very important. Practice in daily life and meditation also. But then there are many supporting conditions. Getting enough sleep, so that there will be mental clarity. Conducive food, to provide enough energy for Dhamma practice. Kalyana mittas, to provide inspiration, to function as a role model, to pass on the Dhamma from time to time. Well, maybe this one we could even classify as a main cause, not just as a supporting condition. A meditation cushion is clearly only a supporting condition. What are the supporting conditions for long-lasting relationships? Can be a marriage, can be friendships, workplace relationships. What are conducive, supporting conditions for harmony? What needs to be absent for harmony to exist? Going to the absence conditions. Can we find any interdependent relationships for harmony to exist between two people? One of the two may be very keen in maintaining a good relationship with the other. But if the other one doesn't care, or is even hostile, it won't work. So it depends on both people, both parties. So they condition each other And only if both factors are fulfilled, there will be harmony. We're slowly coming to an end of this meditation. We can open our eyes and get back to normal. Okay, so these were some examples of how we can branch out a little bit more from our normal way of seeing conditionality. This comes first, then comes that. But also seeing different aspects of conditionality. Which ones did we cover? Which one do you remember? Absence condition, right? Something needs to be absent for something else to be. To see, there has to be an absence of darkness, the presence of light. Then, what else? Think of the baby and the mother, the child and the mother. Each other, anya manya paccaya, interdependent you can say, or mutually conditioning. To meaningfully speak of a mother, she needs to have a child. It's not that the mother comes first. Yes, the woman comes first. But to speak of her as a mother happens at the same time as the baby comes to be. So these things depend on each other. Consciousness, name and form, depending on each other. Then, what else? Of course, the classic one thing comes first, the other one follows. So the Theravada Abhidhamma tradition has come up with 24 different ways of seeing conditionality. It's like the Eskimos, 24 different words for snow. I don't know whether it's 24, but quite a number. And having those frameworks in mind, having heard about them once or twice, that's good enough. You don't have to every day spend a whole hour thinking like now. This is just to get familiar with the meaning. And then when you do your normal reflections, when you do your open awareness practice, and then, sometimes because you've been thinking about that before, now the mind is conditioned. Conditioned again. Now it's conditioned to recognize also other cause-effect relationships or conditional relationships compared to the standard or different from the normal, the standard one. So in this way our portfolio, our width and breadth of Dhamma contemplation and wisdom broadens. And we can see nuances that previously I've never thought about, right? Absence condition. I never thought about that. Oh, yes. But once you have that in mind, then the mind can see it. You recognize it. Once you have a word for all the different types of snow, we would be able to recognize it. But since we have only one word, we don't notice it. So feel free to integrate that from time to time in your practice. And when you look out for conditionality, which type of conditionality?